Hey losers, I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with a short and sweet little book haul because I've got a couple books here to tell you about. First, maybe the one I'm most excited about is a pre-order. This is Empire of the Damned by J. Kristoff. This is the sequel to Empire of the Vampire, which came out, I think maybe 2 years ago. And I loved it. It was like a dark fantasy vampire novel that takes place in like a old-timey, listen, I don't know much about world history, so let me start with that. But it felt like maybe, you know what, I'm not even gonna say it because I have no fucking idea. I don't know what time period it felt like. Old-timey, very old-timey, almost like Renaissance-y, maybe older than that. I don't know. I said I wasn't gonna do it and then I said it anyways. So this is the sequel to that. I really love that book. It has this religious tone to it, which I love, especially with the vampire thing with it, which kind of makes it almost sacrilegious, you know, because they're doing something, it's like they're doing something sacrilegious almost, you know? Which is what I like about it, obviously. I also, for Book of the Month, was so excited to see that Annie Bought by Sierra Greer was one of the choices. This is a book that I listened to, I think in January. It was one of the choices for Libra FM's ALC program, so I was able to listen to that for free. And I really liked this book a lot. So I was super stoked to be able to like get a copy of it, which I could have, you know, bought it, but like I'm not buying books right now. So like, so with the subscription, it was kind of like a loophole to getting a copy. And this is like a kind of like light sci-fi book where like in the near future you can purchase these like lifelike AI companions, and Annie is one of those, and she is created to be kind of like a sex companion basically. So it's like kind of sad and weird. It's kind of sad and weird because they're programmed to like this and want to do it, but that also makes it kind of sad and weird, you know, that like this is her existence. So it definitely leaves you with a lot to think about, I think. But I really liked this book, and it's one I would recommend for sure. So I'm excited to have a copy of my own. And then 2 Nightworms books for this month. The first one is Forgotten Sisters by Cynthia Pelayo. I'm going to read you the synopsis for this. Sisters Anna and Jenny live in a historic bungalow on the Chicago River. They're tethered to a disquieting past, and with nowhere else to go, nothing can part them from their family home. Not the maddening creaks and disembodied voices that rattle the old walls. Not the inexplicable drownings in the area, or the increasing number of bodies that float by Anna's window. To stave off loneliness, Anna has a podcast spinning ghostly tales of Chicago's tragic history. But when Anna captures the attention of an ardent male listener, she awakens to the possibilities of an outside world. As their relationship grows, so do Jenny's fears. More and more people are going missing in the river. And then 2 detectives come calling. They're looking for a link between the mysteries of the river and what's housed on the bank. Even Anna and Jenny don't understand how dreadful it is, and still can be, when the truth about their unsettling lives begin to surface. Chicago, I'm pretty sure that's where Cynthia Pelayo lives, or where she grew up, or something like that. I know her other books also take place in Chicago. At least I know one of them does. I'm not sure if all of them do, but the other one that I own for sure does. I haven't read it yet, so I will have to get on that. So that's kind of interesting. I've never been to Chicago, but I grew up in the Midwest, so it's like one of those things I should have done and then never did. Maybe someday. The Windy City. Okay, and then the other book in this Nightworms package was The Haunting of Velkwood by Gwendolyn Keist, which I've also read. So that was also exciting. I did a review on that. I will leave a little clicker at the top if you'd like to watch that. But should I read the synopsis? Sure, I'll do that. The Velkwood vicinity is the topic of occult theorist, tabloid 1-hour documentaries, and even some pseudo-scientific investigations as the block of homes disappeared behind a near impenetrable veil that only 3 survivors could enter, and only 1 has in the past 20 years until now. Talitha Velkwood has avoided anything to do with the tragedy that took her mother and 8-year-old sister, drifting since then from one job to another, never settling anywhere or with anyone, feeling as trapped by her past as if she was still in the small town she so desperately wanted to escape. When a new researcher tracks her down and offers to pay her to go back to enter the vicinity, Talitha claims she's just doing it for the money. Despite all the crackpot theories over the years, no one has discovered what happened the night Talitha and her estranged former best friends Brett and Grace escaped their homes 20 years ago. Will she finally get the answers, or is this just another dead end? Reading the synopsises for books over the years on my channel, some of them are just worded so clunkily, and that's not the author's fault at all. I know that they don't do that, but this one is just one I've read aloud a few times, and it just trips me up. I have to like repeat myself so many times because it's like, I don't know, for some reason it's so clunky. But this is a story about a neighborhood that vanished behind. It's like this veil of mist settled upon this neighborhood, and nobody except for 3 like young adult women who lived in the neighborhood but were not in the neighborhood at the time. Nobody except for those 3 women have been able to go into the neighborhood, or they think, because only one has gone in and been able to come out, and like nobody else is able to go in. So they think that the other 2 like might be able to, but no one's done it, and it's been 20 years, you know, so at this point they're like, well, maybe someone should try. So like I said, I have a full review of that. I will leave a clicker again here. I'll do it here if I remember, hopefully. So yeah, watch that if you're interested. I did like that book. It was a good book. So yes, that is a pile of books that I'm adding to my bookshelf. It is kind of weird. You know, I am trying to, obviously with my, with the Read What You Own challenge, you know, it's really kind of rewired my brain in a way. And I've been thinking about how I buy books, because I love used books. So a lot of it is like, if I find a book that I think I might read and I find a used copy of it, I will buy it. So I don't always buy with intention. And I think I'm going to have to be doing more of that, which makes me a little bit sad, because I do love the surprise of picking something up and not knowing what it holds for me. So and obviously I'm not at the point where I'm buying books again, but I'm not really sure how to fit those two things together, like the buying intentionally, which I know I have to do, and also the like magic and surprise of hunting for strange books, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I have some time to think about it, I guess. And maybe it just comes down to having self-control, I guess. You know, a little bit of both. But I don't know. I mean, not everything I buy is used. Obviously, I also buy, you know, new horror books. But, I mean, I'm looking at, like, the shelves over here that you don't see. I mean, like, this stuff right here. These are like my Stephen King books over here. You can't see right here. Maybe you can't see a little bit. These are my Stephen King books. And then these are like my paperbacks from Hell books, which obviously I've not read all those. These are some of the books that, obviously these ones are books that I am buying intentionally because I'm looking for specific copies. And they're also used books. And then this stuff back here is all stuff that I've read. So you see a weird amalgamation of my bookshelves, but then also on the other side of this room are all my unread books. And that's also a weird mix of used books and new books and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's just, it's really weird. So that's all I have for you today. Just a weird little, just some thoughts in my head and some books that I've acquired recently through subscriptions and also pre-order that I'll get to soon. Maybe in, what comes after April? May? Maybe in May. Probably not in April though, because Old School April is coming up. And let me know if you're participating. I would be so stoked. If you are, let me know what team you're on. Rep your team in the comments. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.